The slide that you see in front of you is actually a relatively optimistic projection. The one we usually use in Austria is from an institute in Austria that actually predicts that the global warming until the end of the century is going to go over 3 degrees. This is, of course, absolutely catastrophic. Supply chains will be ruined. Food chains will be in disarray. We will see mass migration all over the world. And of course, it just means a huge catastrophe for the nature. We really want to prevent that scenario, and in order to reach the Paris Agreement targets of 1.5 degrees until 2030, we just need currently a massive acceleration of absolute emission reduction. We don't have so much carbon budget left. Some people say we have already used it and we already reached the 1.5 degrees global warming. I'm optimistic here. I do believe there's still a lot that we can do. I believe we have all the mechanisms to do it, but what we need currently as a global society is also companies making their part towards reaching our global goals. The third concept is called money for money. This is the concept we will be talking a lot about today, where in the first step, we set ourselves an internal carbon price. In the second step, then we basically calculate the budget. And again, in the third step, as with the second concept, we define the percentage split between the reduction and climate projects.
If you have an internal carbon price, you will have to report on that in the CSRD about how high this carbon price is, how you use it, how much of your corporate carbon footprint is covering this internal carbon price. So it's real communication and transparent communication. You see that this internal carbon price will change your investment decision, because now if you take the total cost of ownership, if you take all costs together, the electric vehicle will be cheaper than the diesel truck. And this is just one business case to calculate internal carbon pricing as a shadow price in your business models and business decisions. And as you can see here on the pro and con side, it improves the transparency on your climate impact. It improves your investment decisions, also by direct impacting finances. And you have a long-term emission reduction because you decide on the low carbon alternatives. We also see on the con side, of course, it might lead to a higher upfront investment, and there's no financial transfer. This is only in your business models. We understand that if we all want to go to net zero by 2050, and we are now all reducing our carbon emissions in short-term or near-term models, we understand that in the base year, you have a high corporate carbon footprint. And over time, in your target year, for example, you set yourself science-based targets until 2030, you will reduce your emissions, let's say, by 50%. As I mentioned, the minimum for scope 1 and 2 within the science-based targets is minus 42% by 2030. So we see that your own emissions are going to reduce. But we also see, and that's the reference points I wanted to show you before, our understanding of the carbon price is that it will go up over time.